Daniel interview, take 3.
This is the little book we give away to customers. That's a comic I made during Inktober about basically just how I got the cafe and the whole story. Welcome to the cafe! Life has been pretty crazy lately. A lot has happened. So let's get you caught up. So here's the thing. I actually used to work here. I used to make all the eggs and slice all the meat and cheese in the back. I've had a lot of jobs. The weird thing is that each has taught me skills I now use for my job today. I never thought it would all happen, and yet here I am living my dreams. The days can be grueling, and if I'm being honest, sometimes I hate it. Nothing is how I want it to be quite yet, and I'm still not making money, but I know what I'm building up to. I want to start an artistic community locally, host comic and zine fests, have live music shows. We're doing it. I love it. I love my life, and it all seems to have worked out. I mean, at least for now. So that's the whole thing. I'm Daniel Whitfield. I'm the owner and manager of the Birdcage Cafe and also head of distribution for Birdcage Bottom Books. Yeah, and then we're also opening up a new space here that we're recording in that's like part rehearsal studio space, part bookstore, and also a collaboration with Curious Publishing for making a risograph lab and art print store.
My name is Camille Alaris Whitfield. I am one of the owners of Birdcage Cafe. I'm also an artist, and I am a professor in my day job. My relationship with Daniel is that we're married. We met in art school, and we're, I guess, also business partners. For the longest while, Daniel wanted to have a comic book store or some kind of space to connect artists. And so he was looking around. This cafe space used to be the Blue Pit where he worked, and it became available for us. Please help me to find my home. I don't know where it is. It's interesting being partners and also business partners. I think even though we are the same in kindred spirits in like both being artists and both, loving this media and loving music and all these things, we're certainly opposites in other ways too. Like, I'm extremely introverted. I'm also very, I wouldn't say I'm type A, but I'm very meticulously organized and have a set way of things.
I feed off the chaos, and I also feed off other people's energy. So dealing with customers all day gives me more energy. Yeah. Doesn't take away my energy, which is the opposite for her.
Yeah. So I think in that way, we're both very good at knowing when the other should probably reel it in. I think artists really do need to take in the world around them and get out and experience things in order to make good art. It's really helpful that Daniel gets me out of that box. Do you feel like I do the same for you?
I feel like I'm not in a box. I'm like...
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you do. You definitely keep me in check, and you add balance to certain things. She makes sure I don't mess up any of the paperwork. That's always a good thing. Have someone double check who knows things about business that I do not know. And professionalism. I'm not the most professionalism person over here. Most professional person. Sorry. I got into comics pretty young. I used to sell sodas at my family's yard sales. And we would save up all the money and then go down to like the local comic book store. And I got really obsessed with those when I was a kid, and then got really into like Spider-Man and X-Men. And then our house burned down when I was like 11 years old. And then I had no comics. And so when I got back into comics as an adult, I wasn't really into the superhero stuff as much anymore. And so I really focused on like independent and small press comics. We actually started dating because I was into her because of comics. We were in our art class together, and we had to go to this gallery showing, and when we showed up, there was a giant wall that was just like one whole wall as a comic. And I was like, oh man, I gotta get to know this person. And Camille was like, yeah, it's me, I'm right here. And I was like, wait, you did this? Because we were already in multiple classes together. So it was, from that point on, I was like, woo. Just kind of like, yeah, a magnet attracted her, I guess. Yeah, I was like, oh, a girl who loves comic books. Yeah, I don't mean to be that nerdy comic guy, but I definitely was at the time.
It's funny, like they talk about love languages, right? I think that's one of the ways that we first started to get to know each other, is we would trade comics back and forth, like things that we liked reading. I think also one of the reasons you clocked me was I was wearing a Gideon Gordon Graves shirt, but the logo from the comic book, not from the shows or the movie.
It's like an upside down Triforce.
So,
but I recognized it right away.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
So.
It was one of those moments.
Yeah.
Never be in need.
The true story of how I got the cafe was intermixed with this story of me donating a kidney.
I want to say it was, 2021 or 2022. My dad needed a kidney. And so Daniel was currently at that time was working at the post office, which is a very physically intensive job, and turned out to be a match for my dad.
I found out in 2020 that my father-in-law needed a kidney. No one in his family turned out to be a match, and I am a universal donor. I told them right away just to test me and get it over with, but of course everybody in the family is like, no, but it ended up being me. And it's just one of those things. Everybody in my family was like, what are you doing? Why are you donating a kidney to somebody? But I just felt, again, like same with sharing comics with the world. It just felt like something I needed to do. My wife and I had been through a lot of loss through COVID, and honestly, it was just the final straw. I wasn't going to let her lose her dad on top of everything else. How could you let somebody like lose their parent if you could do something to stop it? I did plan to just like draw comics the whole time I was off on leave, but life gets in the way is the easiest way to say that. And then a month after I was on leave, I saw the cafe go up for sale. So me being off for the surgery and having that time to really invest into acquiring the cafe would never have been possible if I hadn't have been off for the surgery and all of that. And then, I mean, when came time for the cafe to get acquired, every bank turned me down. It was a whole thing. I don't have good credit. I'm poor. I'm from a poor family. I did save a lot of money, but it's not like banks care. So what ended up happening was my father-in-law pulled out the extra last chunk to help me get the cafe in the end. He says that I gave him a second chance, and so it was the least he could do to give me a second chance. So it ended up changing both of our lives dramatically. My doctor told me I shouldn't go back to working at the post office, and so I didn't. I had to do a dramatic change. So when the cafe came up for sale, that just looked like destiny to me. It looked like fate. It was a second chance to get the thing I'd already been trying to get for a number of years. And donating the kidney, I pulled out all of my retirement, and it still wasn't enough. So my father-in-law, like, coming back and repaying that karma in that way was like, it means the entire world to me and everything. And literally, I would have never had any of this without him.
Hi, I'm Pixel, the vocalist from Glitter Ghost.
Hi, I'm Kevin, the vocalist and music creator of Roosevelt Motel and the creator of Sad Lindo Records.
My name is Sarai, and I book here at the Birdcage Cafe.
So with the music stuff, I used to play music with my friends a lot. I was like their jam guy in their bands and like their practice bassist or fill-in drummer or whatever they needed. It was really important to me that I not only just work with people that are with the illustrative arts, but just arts in general, and build that whole community out. And so it was really part of my mission statement right away to bring in the bands and try and build that community. I wanted to work with local bands, give them a space to play their music, really like encourage and foster that community.
We have performed here quite a few times. We are working on bringing up open mics on the second and fourth Wednesdays of every month. And I've been helping Daniel around the rehearsal studio so we can have more space for local bands to practice and or record.
This is turning into a staple for the local Inland Empire music scene.
I started doing it after my friend in Vegan Tuna, Jordan. He started hosting shows here. He did one. And then I thought, I've never heard of this venue. I'm gonna take it over and I'm going to make it a nice, fun, safe space for all ages shows and a fun time.
I know you haven't gone to sleep at all. Breaking ring on in that little fast food
I mentioned
car.
Scott Pilgrim. A big part of that comic book is the music. It's around bands, right? And so I think music is also one of the ways that DJ is incorporating our interests into it. I was a big music buff for a long time. I wanted to like work as a music journalist, so I would absorb all the music that I can. I was definitely the annoying record store patron that's like, oh, this is not as good as blah, 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 blah. You know, I could go on and on and on. So, yeah, bringing that into the cafe space has been interesting, unexpected, but I think it does go hand in hand with zines.
People tend to support the local community a lot here. So we see that Birdcage is growing and having that support always showing up and coming around.
This is a DIY venue, which stands for Do It Yourself. So I basically allow the bands or the hosts of the events to do as much as they want to make it their own thing. And DIY is really great because I don't take any cut of door, I don't take any cut of merch, but it also means I do expect bands to provide their own sound. I expect them to run the door themselves.
I think Birdcage is really valuable for the community because the music scene could be kind of gatekeepy, could be kind of cliquey, and Daniel has welcomed different genres of music. Birdcage has welcomed almost anyone who was willing to put their time and energy to support not only themselves and the local bands they invite, but also try to support Birdcage as well. I think he's one of the venues that is 100% artist friendly, doesn't exploit artists at all, doesn't take advantage of any musicians, and open arms is how I would call Birdcage. And I think that is so important for the Inland Empire music scene.
My goal with this venue is for it to be a harm reduction positive venue. It is important to have a venue that like whose business model and like what they do and what they stand for is not necessarily like super focused and centric on alcohol.
Yeah, we don't sell alcohol at any of the shows. It goes well with me only having one kidney and me not drinking and being more of a sober person myself.
I think it's really neat that it's kind of become this space where, accessible again to a population that maybe can't get out to LA. I know when I was a kid growing up, I wanted so badly to go to Warped Tour, but it was in LA and it was all these places I couldn't get to. And I think it would have been a cool place for me if she knew that there was no drinking and it would be fine to leave me here.
We desperately need something that's all ages, that doesn't involve like alcohol, and is just here to make music, to make friends, and to just meet more people who care about where we're from and care about music and care about artists of all kinds. And as much as Birdcage is a cafe, when you look all around it, it's just art.
I feel like it's important to be able to have a space where the bands can have outreach to people in high school and like in that demographic, that those are the people that really become fans for life. And if you can't get them in to see your band anywhere, then they'll never know you exist.
As much as we can do to build community, and it doesn't necessarily have to be around here. You know, I go to other venues in the Inland Empire to build community as well. So my goal is for this to be a resource to continue building that community.
I think if you have heard of Birdcage and you have participated in events and stuff, I think we as a community really need to look out for each other and really need to support. Put our money where our mouth is. We know there's no venues around here. We know growing up here we would have to go somewhere far. We would have to carpool and just go anywhere. And I think us as youth definitely needs entertainment and definitely needs things more all ages.
And accessible.
So, yeah.
There's a lot of charm here. There's a lot of really good people here. We'd be nothing without the community that came around us to prop us up. So I would highly recommend coming out for one of the events, seeing what books just spending time and sitting here with the books even to read in the library, the zine library portion, and then picking up something just at random. I hope that someone who maybe didn't think that comics was for them will find something.
There are moments and experiences that you can't get anywhere else, and I just want people to have those more often. When someone comes in and they're like, wow, this is like my thing and I never knew it was my thing, that's like the most rewarding thing to me. When someone comes in and finds something that just was something they would have never discovered otherwise and have like a whole experience and a whole time, they enjoy themselves. Like those are the moments that I really enjoy at the cafe. And just exposing people to art. People don't have as many outlets for that anymore, not in the physical, tangible, like real world space. Everyone's experiencing things online. So have like a real physical place where people can go. They can experience the comics. They don't even have to pay. They can just read and like enjoy the medium. And same with zines. They can just, you know, be exposed to this whole world that they never knew existed. And that's really wonderful. It's like, that's the thing that keeps bringing me back day after day after day to work long hours, is that I get to share art with the world, basically. So. If you want to show your appreciation, we sell lots of comics in our online bookstore, birdcagebottombooks.com. We have a Patreon. We have so much going on. Just find us online. The cafe too, Birdcage Comics Cafe. I mean, it's a whole vibe. It's a whole scene. We're doing a whole thing. If you want to support it, we're here to be supported. Or just come get breakfast. Come get a sandwich. You know, not the end of the world. You don't have to love comics to come eat here. So we'd be happy to have you.
Hollywood, Neverland, cause humiliation, a heartbreak scam takes intoxination, just dissolve the way.